Okay, welcome everyone. Questin here with more Wrath the Lich King Classic Beta. I am going to be leveling, but it is going to take me a couple of minutes to actually get started. Still have certain things to do in real life. I'd say one of the things that actually kind of puts me off from leveling in the beta is the lack of quest markers. It's actually quite annoying. Spotlight. Right. I don't want to do the elite quests at the moment. Maybe later. But we will see. Let me... Online friends, offline friends. Kill member alert. And just disable all that shit. The black blood of Yaxar. Well, people don't get beta access based on that, Andrew. You should know that by now. Yeah, that is a fun one. Anyway, gonna get the black blood of Yogg-Saron. So I think maybe tomorrow we'll be able to access add-ons. Certainly would make the experience a lot more enjoyable. But that doesn't mean we'll actually get the add-ons. None of the above. Huh. That's good. I think I should make a cancel aura with divine play. Probably not. Would be a bad idea actually. Very rarely do you want to turn it off. At least as prot. As holy, that might be a different discussion. Okay. I know I still need to kill a couple of these, but I'm looking for I think there is a named NPC around here. Or not. What level are these guys? 72, okay. I'm gonna need to do a number of quests to get to the required level. No, Towley is here. Ah, of course he is. This is the hot topic of discussion, isn't it? Among the WoW fan base. What's the hardest part of being a YouTuber streamer for you? That's an interesting question. There are a number of things, of course. I'd probably, like, from one perspective, I'd probably say that the hardest part of being a YouTuber or streamer is the fact that you have to spend a lot of hours. Like, when something like this comes out, like when a game comes out, you really want to put in a lot of hours. Like in WoW, you want to get to max level as quickly as possible so you can stream the max level content. For instance, that's one of the aspects. Poor Towley, he's not going to find people at this hour, I think. That's one example, though. From personal perspective, though, but you know, having to do that, that's actually not necessarily the worst part about it, honestly. I would have to say that the worst part from my personal perspective as to what goes on both YouTube and Twitch these days, but certainly on YouTube, is the way the algorithms work and the way content gets promoted. So if you're playing so if you're a YouTuber, it's like you want to cover things that people will want to watch. So you want to cover games that have a lot of popularity attached to them. Because if you don't, you're just gonna get fuck all views, more or less. That's the first issue. That's one of the bigger issues. The thing I dislike the most, though, is not only that do you have to cover certain games as opposed to others, even though you might enjoy other games more. I'd say the biggest issue is you have to pretty much be, like, if you're gonna be successful on YouTube or Twitch, you have to pretty much be a shill, more or less. And it's not like being a shill for, like, the game or company. You know, you can make a lot of money being a negative bastard, but it's more so like, you have to go with the flow of what the internet... I would call this the Reddit YouTube meta. It's like, oh, Reddit has this perspective. Clearly, it must be right, even when it's not. So that's what you want to... so you're really heavily incentivized as a YouTuber to cover things in a certain way, like say certain things in a certain way about what's going on. So for instance, one of the things that really hurt me personally, and this is just a personal example, but it's like the principle of it, really. One of the things where I went against the flow, so to speak, is like I made the point again and again that what Blizzard was doing TBC was going to be a fucking disaster. Specifically splitting off tier 4 and tier 5. And it did end up being so. But the problem is, although I was proven right, being right means zilch. Being correct about something, being completely honest and correct and all that means absolutely very little on YouTube. Because a lot of people didn't want to hear that. Like a lot of people didn't want to accept the idea that doing that would have disastrous consequences for the game. And it did. For the game, for the community. Similar to the idea of a summer release. But a lot of people didn't want to hear it. And the problem is, when people get it into their heads that when people get it into their heads that, or a majority of people, or a vast majority of people get it into their heads that they're right on something, you're like kind of pissing against the wind, more or less, with that. And you just end up screwing yourself, more or less, in that situation. So you want to say things that are gonna be popular with people, because that's how, regardless of how incorrect they might be, even when you know, like, they're false, you don't want to talk about it. Like, in best case scenario, you have people that don't talk about it or don't understand what they're saying is false, or and they make a lot of money with that. Or more often, or with some people, they're deliberately saying things that they know, and like in the worst case, they're deliberately saying things that they know are wrong, but they're doing it anyway because that's what gets them money. And I'm not too fond of that, honestly. So let me guess. That's how I feel about. That's what I'd say would probably be the worst aspect about being a YouTuber or streamer. Pretty much. I mean, I know it's not just gaming, right? Now, I understand that it's clearly not just a gaming affair, right? Like, this goes into politics, into life in general, all that kind of stuff. I do think that it represents a major issue in modern society that we're at that point. But at the same time, like, I'm just kind of at the stage where I don't like it because it's like, it's dishonesty. Like, but the thing is, like, I would have gotten a much bigger audience, a lot more people watching my content, a lot more people happier with me if I had if I hadn't been like the spoiled sport, so to speak. In fact, one of the guys who helped me get into the TBC beta was Josh Colbert of the Countdown to Classic. And one of the reasons, I think, one of the primary reasons that he stopped inviting me into his podcasts, including banning me from his Discord and all that kind of stuff, which I'm like, okay, fair enough, you do what you want to do. One of the primary reasons he did that is like precisely because I was saying things that people disliked hearing, even if they were unquestionably true. Like, it was related to this class stacking as well, like what classes were gonna be the meta, etc. That kind of stuff. I'd probably say expertise. For generating threat, focus on expertise. Hit to a lesser extent, but both are good. I need to rifle the fucking bodies, but I can't seem to find the item that I'm looking for. Okay, let's kill them all. I'd focus on survivability. Your damage is gonna be pretty high. Focus on survivability so you can do bigger pulls. A fan. Alright. I'm just trying to find... Well, killing these guys. As a pro paladin, you have a lot of damage, and the primary way that damage is you're gonna get damage is like through weapon damage until you're like 74, then blood value takes precedence. But Shield of the Righteous anyway is gonna do a lot of damage. Don't worry about doing damage while leveling in dungeons. Things will die pretty quickly. Focus on survivability so that way you can do bigger pulls. You can do some pretty crazy stuff if you have the gear for it. That's my sentiment on this. And by survivability, I mean stamina. Well, ideally, in Wrath, when you start doing a 5-man dungeon, you start pulling and you never stop. Of course, that's rarely how it works, but still. Well, if there's anything I learned on YouTube is that nowadays it matters far less the quality of the content you're making and far more how you can promote it. How do I get up there? The reason I even got as decently sized as I did is I made videos on stuff, one, people wanted to see, two, I got a bunch of big name streamers. This wasn't necessarily by intended purpose, but I did get a bunch of big name streamers, or at least one, stay safe, like promoting my content. Not directly, so to speak, but indirectly. It doesn't matter. I'm looking for something else though. And it's not like I'm a big YouTuber or anything like that. Alright. So my goal here is... find me a Magister. There's also a Troll. Oh, that's fun. Heroic dungeons aren't out yet, right, in the beta? Hmm. There we go. To be honest, I'm a bit disappointed. I expected the elite here. MGT boss all over again. Alright, where is that elite? We'll see about the full might of the blue. I can survive his damage. Alright, he can be interrupted. He's not really a solo target though, is he? I'm sure I might have managed it. Grand Magister Magus Telistra. The easiest fucking boss in all of Wrath of the Lich King. Except Gunship, I guess. But the easiest 5-man boss, certainly. Right. There's the Rot quest as well to do. But first I'm gonna turn this one in. Good. 25,000 experience. Pretty decent. Actually, I think it would have been a lot less than that, wouldn't it? Without the 50% XP boost, that is, of course. Anyway, blighted animals. The hell with that, I'm just gonna give myself Greater Blessing of Kings. Have plenty of mana regen, though Sanctuary is a better choice anyway, if you can use it. Yes, there is a 50% XP boost that Blizzard has introduced. They know that people don't like leveling all that much. That's why the boosting servers. That said, I don't think 50% extra experience, yeah. It will be. It will be on the full release. I think it should be more. A lot more, actually. And I'm not quite interested in the opinions of the bloody purists on this issue. Nope. Full on. Full on 50% experience boost.
Blood and thunder. For the Horde.
How may I aid?
Where are the names? Hold on. That is a bit bizarre. Well, their names are not showing up. That's kind of odd, you know? That is a bit of an odd thing. Do I report it? NPC name not showing. Like, it's just for these guys though, right? It's not for all of them.
What are you looking for? Be safe. Loktar.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take this axe and I'm gonna use it, but I have to level weapon skill. That's gonna be a fun experience. Since I have no axe skill whatsoever. I mean, why would I? It's not like you use an axe as a paladin in TBC.
How may I aid you? Ancestors want to know.
I am forsaken. Trust no one.
Bit of a performance drop there.
Strength and honor. Strength.
Anaria Shola. Shorelaran.
What do you need? May your blades never dull.
Everything has a price.
Right, let me just get rid of a bunch of this crap.
Salama Ashalanore.
What can I help you with? Go.
Pairing a bit. Yes, once I get to 72, I'll be doing some Azul Narub and Ankahet, but first I need to get to 72. But yeah, there will be plenty of dungeon tanking. The problem right now in the beta is like there's not necessarily a huge crowd of people that have been invited, so there's not necessarily a lot of people, and leveling wise a lot of people don't care, so yeah. Alright, let's get that X skill up. Yes, I did get an invite. To the beta, I did get an invite. There's quite a story. There's a bit of a story to it, but not gonna go into the details of that. But yeah, my goal for the stream here is to get 72, do both Azul Narub and Ankahet. Maybe get 73. Maybe do the Rathgate. I don't know. We'll see. It's not really a story I'm proud of. Okay, so I was... And it's kind of something I'm a bit uncertain of sharing because I don't know how Blizzard would react if they saw it, but... Alright, short version. I was streaming private servers. Blizzard did not like that. Though, although Blizzard's kind of weird when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's like sometimes they care and put a copyright strike on your channel. Sometimes they just don't give a shit. Or a lot of time they don't care. But I think there is a change in the direction happening right now in Blizzard where they do care about it. So anyway, I got contact from someone by Blizzard who basically said, yeah, we're gonna copyright strike your stream. I had the stream active at the time. Copyright strike, unpleasant. And then it's like as a consolation prize, I guess, if you will, because I removed all the stuff that I had from private servers as a consolation prize for all the things I lost. It's like, okay, yeah, here's beta access so you can record footage, do videos, etc., stream, etc. It's like, okay, all good. I'll take it. Stressful, mind you. Pretty damn stressful. Because free copyright strikes and you're out. You're not getting your channel back. Divine play. You know the problem with divine play is that they actually need to land a melee attack for it to actually activate. That can be a bit of a problem when you have no weapon skill. Hello, hello. Yeah, they do expire after a certain period, but keep in mind it's like I had quite a few things at that time, so it's like could have gotten a lot more than free. Not anymore. At least, I don't think so. Hopefully I'm really not proven wrong. But it's a 3-month expiration date. So, pretty stressed out. Pretty stressful experience overall. Now, the guy from Blizzard did tell me that they were going to remove it, but that hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it does get removed. How do I play Classic? I've been invited to the beta. Actually, quite a few people I know have been invited to the beta by this point. I'm not sure, is Lottie from Salad Bakers in the beta? Probably is, knowing him. Let's see. No, he's not online. Hold on. No. Actually, I don't think he's necessarily... Well, if he is, he might not care about it right now, right? We got other priorities. All right, about halfway there. Problem is mana. There we go. Okay. Oh, welcome everyone that's joining in. So right now I'm just leveling weapon skill. I got the quest item, an axe. It's actually decent, better than what I had. Good stamina, all that kind of stuff. Probably should have just picked one target, right? I'm gonna do, once I do the dungeons today and finish the stream, I think Prat is significantly better for leveling than Ret. The problem as a Ret Paladin, and this is actually an issue that applies to this day on retail, the problem of Ret Paladin for the sake of leveling is as follows. You just don't have the sustainability that Pra has. What would be good professions? Herbalism. I'm not joking. Like, herbalism is probably going to be the most fucking profitable gathering profession of all of them. Because people want, like, it comes down to understand why it has to, you have to understand how RAF really works in terms of DPS. So in RAF, it's really important for people, for DPSers. Tanks, maybe if you're really pushing for some world records, I guess, but it's like, by and large, not quite. But if you're a DPSer, well, you can get mining and herbalism. Thought about that. But the thing about it is that in RAF, your pre-potting really matters if you're a DPSer. Not really as a tank, not as a healer. Though you can, don't get me wrong, you absolutely can. And on certain bosses, I would strongly recommend you do so, as both of those, actually. What's the block value of your shield? I mean, I don't know. Shield of impenetrable. It's 122. Let's see. Shield of impenetrable. Let's see how much it is in TBC. Can you track both at the same time? That's a good question. I think you can. Not entirely certain. No, it's the same block value as in TBC. My current block value is 400. The reason prop paladins may have had an increase in block value is because of itemization changes on their tier items. Could be that. Alright, so right now I'm at 200 weapons, right? Weapon skill. Oh, it's at least going up consistently. So what I personally think of the beta, it's like, okay, it runs pretty smooth and well. Some bugs, some minor issues, but yeah, for the most part, it's pretty good. I do feel like leveling could be a lot faster. I do feel that they could make the questing, like, the problem, like, the thing is, questing so far hasn't been a complete misery, with the exception we don't have any kind of quest tracker in the game, and add-ons are disabled, so no questing, nothing like that. Well, okay, that's gonna be sorted out. The issue that I'm seeing right, is like, for me, questing is fine in the beta at the moment, but it's fine within the context of I'm literally soloing it, right? It's like I'm not seeing competition, I'm not fighting for mobs, I'm not doing any of that. So what I'm thinking to myself at this point is like, what if I do have to fight for mobs? What if I do have to, what if I am competing against hundreds and hundreds of people? Because you can be certain that on quite a few servers that's going to happen. But yeah, the reason pre-potting, by the way, going back to herbalism is a really big goal getter in RAF because of pre-potting. Pre-potting is important because the way DPS works, because the way it works in RAF is you can only use one potion per per boss fight, but you can pre-pot before you pull the boss. So you're basically getting an extra potion if you pre-pot potion usage. So okay, that's one of the reasons, but it's not just that. It's also the fact that you want, since bloodlust, you can only get pretty much one bloodlust per boss fight. Two if it's a decently lengthy fight, but by and large it's going to be one. Since you can only get one bloodlust, and since there's a lot of internal cooldowns for classes and trinket internal cooldowns and all that kind of stuff. Just a second, boys and girls. Sorry about that. But since you can only get one bloodlust for the vast majority of boss fights that exist in the game, two for things like Lich and all that, but by and large one, and because you have a lot of internal cooldowns, then the best way to min-max your DPS output, your raid output in RAF, is to have the entirety of the DPS in your raid you want to have all of your DPSers in your raid pre-potting and using every cooldown at the start of it, or maybe some of the cooldowns. You know, you either are going full on with bloodlust and every cooldown, or you're going in with the 2 or 3 minute cooldowns, right? Mercs, I don't think you need to fight too hard for mobs. The thing is, okay, so the thing is, difference between TBC and RAF. Couple of differences. In TBC, you could pretty much ignore Hellfire. And you could ignore Hellfire because you could just jump in the dungeons. You could ignore the Hellfire quest, right? And that's what a lot of people did. They just ignored Hellfire. So in TBC you can do that, but in RAF, the thing is, you want to get to Caldara, where the Nexus is, which you may want to do. I mean, sure, you could just do it with card keep and all that, but it does feel like they're just going, yeah. You do want to quest in TBC, and you want to quest for a reputation, so it's not too big of an issue, but you do want to do the Amber Lodge quest. Like, the problem that's going to exist in RAF is everyone's going to want to do the quest chain from Amber Lodge, Caldara, and all that, because 1, it's a good amount of experience, 2, it's tied directly to the Nexus. It unlocks access to Caldara. Like, unless you're dying in a certain spot, or you can be saved, or you're summoned by at the summon stone, yeah, it's like you're gonna want to do those quests, which can be a pain. I do think like RAF can be more competitive than TBC. Like, technically RAF should be better because you have Howling Fjord, but I can tell you the Howling Fjord quests, like, the problem with Borean Tundra and Howling Fjord is that, 1, dungeon leveling is not necessarily going to be as good as it was in TBC or vanilla, and I think Blizzard is even looking to nerf the experience of dungeon leveling. So, because, well, I don't know for you guys, but I personally have no fucking intention of ever doing what I did in TBC again, which is I spent like 30 fucking hours in the slave pens in TBC Classic. Does that sound like a fun thing for you guys? Because it certainly was not efficient. Good, worked. We had the Grey Mage, etc. I was playing Baker's Grey Mage, all that kind of stuff. Like, really worked out. But it was just such a damn painful, fucking boring experience. Oh dear, if I never see slave pens again from a leveling standpoint, I will be damn happy. In fact, I'm not sure I ever want to play TBC again. Maybe in like 5 years, thank you very much, if even that. We'll see. Still messing with a lot of them. What's the max? Yeah. So I wanna get more. I mean, I guess I could just keep going quest-wise. I think it's a mistake. I genuinely believe that removing RDF is a huge fucking mistake on Blizzard's part. Now, I think it would be decent if they did require people to actually get to the dungeon entrance on their own at least once. Yeah. So going ham from the start of the fight. Here's what I'm gonna answer to that. To the question of can tanks hold threat if DPSers go ham from the start? Well, I'm gonna answer it from this perspective. You're either gonna hold threat as a tank from the start of the fight, or you're not gonna be a tank for a very long period of time. There's not gonna be a middle ground in respect to this. It's like, you know, all tanks got thrown aside to the mighty druid in TPC early on because druids could and warriors and paladins couldn't. Same shit is gonna happen in Wrath. There's no middle ground, yeah. They do have a maximum amount of layers, actually. I believe they've actually stated that they do have limitations hardware-wise in terms of what they can do. So, no, it's not like they can just say, yeah, we are gonna ignore. Well, see, this is the reason why paladins and to a lesser extent DKs are gonna be the kings of tanking, because you can't compete with the fucking threat. Like DKs in particular can do an enormous amount of burst threat, but paladins have the best sustained threat of any tank in the game. So yeah, one of the reasons, like, I made a whole paladin tank guide, and one of the things I said in terms of like what you want to get, it's like one of the things you want to get is the expertise parry cap. Yeah, 56 expertise. Get used to it. You're gonna fucking get it. You can get it. I have it right now. Not in this character, different character, different server. One of those lovely fun servers. But I have it with tier 7 gear. Specific, very specific gearing, mind you, but it is absolutely possible. And I need it. That's the thing, you need it. You can't fuck around. Because the thing is, like, the problem isn't just burst threat, though that's obviously a problem. But you can handle it, like MD's tricks, if you get the tricks, because a lot of the times you DPSers, you will want to probably give the tricks to warlocks for snapshotting. But it can be managed. You can give the tanks tricks or two. But the one thing to be said about all of this is that if you can't generate an enormous amount of threat as a tank, DPSers will catch up to you in the middle of the fight and they will take aggro from you. Melly, here's what I'm gonna answer to that. Warrior, you know, I look at that and I roll my fucking eyes. Do you know why I'm rolling my eyes over the whole bullshit attention that warriors have got? It's like, oh yeah, great. People have figured out that warriors have fucking revenge and sweeping strikes. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yes, warriors, every tank can do significantly more damage in Wrath than they did in TPC. That's just a fact. But everyone does significantly more damage in TBC in Wrath than TBC by default. Warriors are the best tanks, are probably some of the best tanks at an early level, because they get a lot of their toolkit pretty early on. So they get Revenge, they get Thunderclap, all that kind of stuff, right? They can get pretty much all of their very strong abilities very early on. They don't need to get level 80. Meanwhile, as a Paladin, for instance, like, you know, I'll just give you the counter example. Like, as a Paladin, right now, I'm missing my Shield Slam, which is a big fucking deal, because that Shield Slam would, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's just a leveling dungeon thing. Yeah, it's absolutely a leveling dungeon thing. Not that Paladins are crap in that respect either. To be honest, I think when it comes to leveling dungeon things, it's like it's going to be fast hard, right? But look at it from this perspective as a Paladin. Because I'm going to show you what I'm missing exactly as a prop Paladin. Right now, I'm 71. Here's what I'm missing. I'm missing Crusade, which is really 6% damage against most enemy types, at the very least 3% damage. So anywhere between 3 to 6% damage. That's what I'm missing right now, because I would need pretty much 80 to get Crusade. Then I'm missing Conviction, up to 4 points, let's say, because I want to have Seal of Command. So 4 points, 4% crit. So I'm really missing, like, let's assume 1% crit is 1% damage, right? That seems to be the theory, but in reality it can be a lot fucking more than that. But let's go with that mentality, right? So I'm missing like easily 10% damage, and that's not including the fact that I'm also missing my Shield Slam. That Shield Slam can crit for 8 fucking K with a good amount of block value at max level. So, yeah. And the crazy thing is, while Prow Warriors are certainly very happy right now, put the Prop Paladin with a really good melee weapon, they'll do a significant amount of damage as well right now in the beta. Tanks, I expect that Prow Warriors and Prop Paladins and a lot of 5-mans, even with full raid gearing, will be the highest DPSers in their group in 5-mans. Overall, just because they do a lot of AoE damage. Not much more than that. But here's the thing. Prow Warrior is better at tanking multiple targets just because they have really good threat generation on a lot of targets, but they don't have a lot of good damage. Threat is not damage. There's a difference. Warriors may do more threat on a lot of targets, like say 20 plus targets. A Paladin will do significantly higher damage on 20 targets. Why? Because of the Seal of Command. Give me a good weapon, full expertise cap. With Seal of Command, I'm out DPSing Warlocks and Boomkins and raids. It's not, I'm not even fucking joking with this, by the way. It depends on how long targets are staying alive, but if it's like short duration, yeah. I was looking to roll Feral tanks since it shares together with Feral Cat. Druids are not great tanks in Wrath, though. Keep in mind that. At least they weren't great. They haven't been great tanks on the fun servers. It's an interesting discussion, though, because top guilds, even some of the best guilds in the world, did use Feral tanks and even Prot Warrior tanks. And Cydia used the Prot Warrior for all of Wrath, and they certainly were one of the best fucking guilds in the world. But just because a top guild was using something back in the day did not mean it was the best decision possible. It's because certainly Prot Warrior was not the best decision possible. You're not gonna out DPS. You're not gonna out DPS Boomkins. It depends on how fast the mobs die. Facty. Let's just say Seal of Command plus Hammer of Righteous. It's like plus Consecration plus Holy Wrath if they're undead targets. Can be a lot of fucking damage in a couple of seconds. I'm not joking. Couple of seconds. Now if it's like 20, 30 seconds, you know, duration or something like that, the mobs stay alive, different discussion, sure. DPSers will win that. But when it comes to burst AoE DPS, it's like Paladins can do a lot. Warriors can do a lot as well, though not as much. I mean, hell, you want to talk about AoE DPSer? Do you know what the best burst AoE DPSer is in the game? It's not Boomkins or DKs or Warlocks or anything like that. It's probably the fucking Arms Warrior with Bladestorm. I'm not exaggerating in this. You don't stack... Okay, you don't give a crap about avoidance in Wrath as a general rule. You generally stack stamina. Or armor. Or both. Ooh, that's a nasty bastard. The reason I think druids are bad, one, they don't have the cooldowns that paladins or even warriors have. They're good in a situation where you're taking a lot of consistent damage, which is actually pretty rare boss-wise. Generally, bosses in Wrath are not doing consistent damage. Generally, bosses in Wrath, by and large, they're doing a lot of damage on specific abilities. That's how a lot of them roll, which makes other tanks that are not druids better. All of them that are not druids better, including DKs. Am I an enchanter? I have no fucking professions at this moment. Sorry, my dude. I actually don't have professions on this character because I actually didn't play that much in TBC. And I had other priorities. Like, one of the things I actually was beginning to do was actually making a clone character. The problem with feral druids is, like I've mentioned, how the best way to DPS in Wrath is to pre-pot and have popping Bloodlust, or at the very least the 2 3-minute cooldowns. There's only 2 tanks that can hold threat in that situation against the DPSers on a fairly consistent basis. One is a Paladin with expertise in hit cap, the other one is the DK because of their ability to do like 4 or 5 icy touches in a row using their cooldowns. Those are the only tanks. Warriors don't match because while warriors may seem great right now, they actually are not scale. Warriors have the same issue in Wrath that they have in TBC. They're good baseline level, but they don't scale. That's their problem. And they're certainly not as good as DKs when it comes to baseline either. Single target baseline threat. Win on AoE though. Best AoE tanks in terms of threat. Easily. Shockwave is a really fucking powerful ability. Thunderclap is really fucking powerful as well. For a generation threat. Also genuinely fun to play Opera Warrior. The playstyle is really enjoyable. How do I know this? I've played a lot of Wrath. What do you mean, how do I know this? It's like, yeah. Let me just tell you something here, Ponzi. The people who are making the guides for the people who made the guides for Classic are private server players. This has been the case from the very beginning of Classic, from Vanilla Classic. Now, I'm not the private... Now, I have played Wrath on private servers, but I've also played Wrath on fucking retail. These things hold... Like, a lot of the things that people talk about these days actually were... A lot of them were actually true even back in the day, even if not necessarily a lot of people realized it even then. Like, for instance, consider the druid tanking meta that developed in TBC Classic. Was that something new for Classic? No. Was it new for private servers? No, actually. It wasn't. It actually happened even back in the day on retail. Like, people realized, it took them until Sunwell Plateau, but people did realize that druids actually had a lot of fucking things to offer compared to warriors and paladins as main tanks in TBC. The reason people used warrior main tanks back on retail TBC was inertia more so than anything else. But druids were the main tanks overall of Sunwell Plateau, even for the very best guilds. Like, a druid main tank to kill Jaden on the world first kill. For a reason. Seems like, well, not necessarily. I wouldn't argue that. There are still things to discover, but some things are fixed. Some things people have figured out, but there are still things that are coming up. For instance, one of the things that's happening right now is with regards to, like, don't expect necessarily major surprises, I guess. Like, if you're really knowledgeable about the game, you may not necessarily expect a huge amount of surprises. But there's still developments that can happen. For instance, one of the things I admit I'm a bit surprised by, though I say a bit, because I'm not entirely surprised by it, but one of the things that has happened in, say, TPC Classic is that the top speedrunning right now in Sunwell Plateau are actually using a lot of Fury Warrior DPSers. Now, it's not entirely surprising because the reasons why they would do so are known to us. One, if you're speedrunning, you want to clear the trash quickly. Warriors are great for that purpose because of their cleave damage and so on. So yeah. Yeah, Paladin Shield has no cast down in Wrath. Instant cast, baby. Blizzard gave the Paladin tank everything they fucking wanted in Wrath. It was great. We became the main tanks. The best fucking tanks in the game. And we stayed on that throne until, what was it? MOP? End of MOP, really. I think it was in WoD that we started seeing the monk dominance, right? Yeah, I can use glyphs. I am using glyphs. I'm using the glyph of Seal of Vengeance for 10 expertise, and I'm using the glyph of Seal of Command for mana regen. Well, I can tell you one thing. I had a lot of issues with quite a few things that Blizzard did on retail Wrath. Classic Wrath is a different beast, but let's just say I didn't necessarily appreciate the direction they took with raiding and with content in general, but one of the things I would never complain about when it comes to Wrath is class design. It was so much better than what we had before, across the board. Sure, balancing wasn't necessarily perfect. The DK was broken as all fuck when Wrath came out. Oh. No, it's interesting to think about, like, oh, this class will do very well, or that class will do very well. Yeah, that's the case nowadays, sure. But one of the things to also mention, though, is the fact that back when Wrath came out, the general mentality of an enormous number of people was...
Greetings. Farewell.
The mentality of a lot of people, the mentality of a lot of people when it came to Wrath was that the DK was the master class. And it kind of was for a while. Then they nerfed them, rightly fucking so. Or they designed them better as well. So yeah. Asmongold thinks fresh Wrath is a mirage. I strongly agree with Asmongold on that. I think it's gonna be, look, I'm gonna say it out loud. I want Classic Fresh to work out. I really do, because I really, really don't want to go in TPC right now with this character, so I have to gear him up. I also don't want to deal with the fucking broken servers that exist currently right now in TPC. I really, really don't. I know people think it's not as bad. It's fucking shit, right? Like the gold selling, the gold buying, all that. It's like, you're not gonna convince me that it's not the pile crap, because it absolutely fucking is. Okay. So I would really like for Wrath Classic to be successful so I can avoid all that crap. But the problem is, it's like, are you gonna tell me that people are gonna level from 1 to 80 on their own? Even with 50%, like 50% is like zilch. Yeah, sure, you're leveling a decent amount faster, but it's like you're still looking at putting, I don't know, 100 fucking hours to leveling. Just for leveling. It's like, fuck that. Who the fuck wants to do that? I certainly don't. I'm not gonna enjoy that aspect about it. I'd still do it because I think Classic Fresh would be a lot better than playing on the shithole servers that exist right now. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, you're telling me that Classic Fresh is gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. The reason it's not gonna work out is because it's only 50% extra leveling speed. And the other issue, beyond that, that alone will be a death blow to Classic Fresh. I don't want to be a cynical bastard, but I'm also a cynical bastard. When I see a problem, I speak out on it. Even if I want it to be otherwise, and in this case I really do want it to be otherwise. I do want Classic Fresh to actually succeed. That's the sad part. I would really like Classic Fresh servers to succeed. But the problem is, like, the leveling aspect alone is going to kill them. Like, they'll be dead on arrival. Just because of that. Because people fucking hate leveling. But then you also have the other issue. There's another major problem that needs to be talked about when it comes to Classic Fresh. People are not gonna abandon all their hard work on current Classic servers, and there's quite a lot of people that have played Classic, that invest in characters, even if they're not playing currently, even if they quit. But you know, even myself, like, this character that I have here is tier 4 gear. It has garbage on it, but still I'm not necessarily willing to abandon it all that much. But I will. I personally would, but quite a lot of people wouldn't. Do you think people with warglaives and actual titles and mounts and all that, they'll be willing to do that? Not necessarily. I don't believe so. And then there's the final and third problem. Do we have any guarantee whatsoever as players that all of the issues that currently exist in Classic, they're not just going to come up again in Classic Fresh? Do we have any guarantee whatsoever? Or will Classic Fresh become the RMT, gold selling, gold boosted hellhole, JKP hellhole that Classic servers currently are? Is that, because if that's the fate, and we have no guarantee whatsoever that Blizzard's gonna treat the Classic Fresh servers any differently whatsoever, if we don't have any improvement in that, it's like, then what's the point? If we're just gonna end up being in that exact same position as current Classic servers a couple of months in. Not necessarily 90 days, but a couple of months in. That's what I'm concerned about. It's like, yeah, oh, we're gonna level, and it's like, it's gonna be RMT again, it's gonna be gold bit runs again, it's gonna be boosting all over again. It's like, no. It's like, what's the value of Classic Fresh servers then? That's what I'm wondering about. That's my concern when it comes to it. It's not gonna fix anything. Now, it would be great. The fresh servers might be a blessing for existing realms, as people and gold sellers are going to flock there. You know, that's such a sad state of affairs, isn't it, though? If that ends up actually being the case. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, like, I want to play Classic Fresh. I do. Like, just start from scratch, play it. But all I can see with it is, like, just the frustrating road when I'm spending 100 hours to level, and then I'm gonna encounter the exact same fucking broken bullshit issues that already exist in Classic. It's like, how's that the solution to anything? The Classic Fresh situation to me just feels like Blizzard is like pretending to do something, but they don't have the courage to actually do what's needed. Do you know what's needed? I'm gonna tell you what's needed. Everyone who buys gold gets banned, without exception. Slap on the wrist initially if you want to put it like that, but if they're a repeat offender, perma-banned. No exceptions, no fucks given. Every gold seller, every bot, all that perma-banned. All gold bid runs banned for a period of at least a couple of months, just to take it down. Gold reset. No one gets more than 1k gold going into Wrath the Lich King. That's what I'd fucking do if I was in Blizzard's shoes. Now I understand why they would never do that. They would piss off a lot of the existing they would piss off a lot of the existing Wrath player base, but it's like, yeah, Blizzard has a major fucking problem with the Classic servers that they can't fix. In the Classic Fresh, it's like, oh, we're gonna fix it by creating new servers. It's like, it's like Blizzard's solution has been all again and again and again when it comes to classic problems. Blizzard's quote-unquote solution, or Blizzard's solution to a lot of issues that WoW has always had, has been to just like add shit on top of shit. It's thinking that's gonna fix it. It never does. That's the sad part. It never fucking does. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm so fucking dead. Wow, okay, that was bizarre. It's like, okay, I got knocked back, but it's like I stuttered in there. No, I'm not in a bad mood, Pico. You haven't seen... I think very few people have really seen me in a genuinely foul move. Like, at this point, I don't really give a crap about WoW anymore. Like, I've accepted the fact that Classic is broken and WoW is in a shit situation. I'm not gonna fucking lie about how I feel about WoW. The only reason I even bother playing WoW anymore is because I can make money from it. That's it. I don't much care for the game anymore. So it's like, yeah, one way or another. Alright, I'm gonna need to use the Might of the Horde. So yeah, I did get carried away a bit there, but yeah. No, I would not. Garrison, I would not. I would not do so. The only reason I've played, like, yeah, I played a RAF server, private server until recently. The only reason I did that was literally just to prepare for Classic, but now I'm the beta, so yeah. The reason the mana regeneration is really fast is because the water is designed for casters with a lot more mana than me. Like, right now, I'm literally just sitting at 4k mana. That's not a lot. Come for here. The water is designed to restore like 12k over. Well, I have a Pro Paladin tanking guide for RAF if you want to check that out. I think you can find it if you search on YouTube search. Like Tankadin guide for RAF. Very comprehensive. I'm semi-peace about, like, I've already said all I needed to say about the Pro Paladin and RAF. It's out there. But we'll see. As for what I do in the future, who knows? Who fucking knows? Personally, I'm just kind of like gaming-wise, I'm not necessarily too excited about anything that's coming out this year. Dragonblight, maybe. You know, I just want to see how the new talent system is going to be with Dragonblight, but that's kind of... But that's pretty much it. But yeah, not a lot of exciting stuff coming out. At least not on PC. God of War though, God of War Ragnarok, that might be a very interesting thing to play. For people who have a PlayStation, which I don't, and I have no intention of ever owning one. Then we have to wait a year until it comes out on PC. And it will be the best fucking version of it anyway, so. GG. Okay, let's free the chief. But you know what? I'm just gonna say this when it comes to Blizzard. I am seeing some signs that they are changing direction with regards to how they're doing things. I'm not sure it's necessarily gonna be enough, but maybe there are signs that they are gonna change things in terms of how they handle WoW in general. It does seem like they're bringing in new fresh blood, making changes in the company, significant changes, so who knows? Maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm a cynical and very skeptical person of pretty much everything as a general rule. But... Alright. He's gone. Are of light. Well, that's a proc on the trinket, isn't it? Yep. I do need to switch to trinkets though. More though. Probably 4 at the time or something like that. Almost 72. Well, not quite 72. Well, I can tell you the beta is not necessarily the greatest experience in the world. You don't have add-ons, there's not necessarily a lot of people in it, all that kind of stuff. Wasn't there a period in time that Blizzard was giving alpha access to people who pre-ordered the version of the game or something like that? Not for Classic. But I think for retail they did that. Alright, so I'm gonna do the prevent the court quest. Yeah. That is an interesting question. Spell damage trinkets are absolutely crap. And by the way, this is not a good choice, but it actually is better than what I have, because at least it's giving me crit. But not a good choice. What would I get? Shard of Contempt. Go for that. Or go for two stamina trinkets, you'll be quite fine. Like, if you want pure damage, Shard of Contempt and a Block Valley trinket, the badge one, I guess, would probably be good choices. Basically, what warriors use, you can use, more or less. They're pretty much gearing up like warriors. Though, I think they want a fast weapon, you want a slow weapon. You don't really need anything in the same way. Like, Stylings was a pretty big deal. There's nothing similar for a prop Paladin in Wrath like that. Shard of Contempt would be a good expertise trinket. There's a good expertise ring from Moro, if you want to bother with that. There's a good expertise from ring from Moro. But even then, it's not critical. You can manage perfectly fine without it. Stylings was important because Stylings was the best fucking prop ally trinket from like a crush cap perspective. There's nothing like that, but there is a good ring with expertise and defense from more. That's pretty much on par with that's very similar to best in slot rings in tier 7, but you do have choices. And a ring is not necessarily going to be very difficult to acquire. Okay, so heroic dungeons are in the game according to what Towley is posting. Well, you could reasonably use it until Ulduar. Because there's only another, like, because it's on par with pretty much any other competition. But you do have choices. You have, like, hit rings and all that kind of stuff. So. I don't know. I don't know about Fist of Reckoning. I've never really played the DK, so I can't really answer that. I've played multiple classes over the years in WoW. To varying levels. Obviously, I've played Prop Paladin the most, but the one thing I've never really been too fond of is the DK, so I can't really tell you.
Sung, go forth to victory. Dabu. Strength for the Horde. Trollhall. Strength. Trollhall. Go forth to victory.
Well, you don't need the. Well, there is a ring from Sarfarian that's pretty similar to it, so. Though that can be annoying. Like, here's what I'd say: if you're raiding Sunwell Plateau right now, go for it. It is worth having. But if you're not raiding Sunwell Plateau, if you're not raiding TBC, don't really bother with it, I'd argue.
The reckoning is at hand. We will have justice.
But that's how I feel right now. I changed my opinion.
On with it.
What do you need? Dabu. What do you need? Go forth to victory.
Make it quick. Suffer well. We will have our revenge. Another time.
Alright, I'm just gonna be right back in a couple of minutes. Just gonna take a short break and then continue. I do want to get to 72, and then I do want to do a Jolner Rube, and I'll go ahead at 72. I certainly have the gear for it. And back. Why don't I stream on Twitch too? Well, several reasons, Rebby. Several reasons. But first I'm gonna check out these quests, see what I need to do.
Ah, I've been expecting you. Go in peace.
So the quests Qualtira wants me to do are gonna require some traipsing around.
Well met. Loktar! Go with honor.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the Moonrest Gardens. Funny. I never realized I actually got the Pit Lord Satchel from McFerrin. It's fun stuff. Is it from McFerrin? I think so. Anyway, I want to do the Blight Beast stuff. The reason I don't stream on Twitch at the same time is there are different platforms to begin with. And also the video quality. I'd have to lower the video quality because the bitrate that YouTube operates on, or the bitrate that YouTube allows, is very different than Twitch. Twitch is, you need to stream at a lower bitrate on Twitch. There's a limit to how high you can go. Annoying, actually. First ring. Okay, let's go up. But I might at one point. Bit weird, but Blight beasts I think are there. If there's anything annoying with Paladin leveling is you don't really have great single target damage until you're... Unless you either have a really good weapon, which I don't, and I can get one only like 74, 75, I don't really know the level of requirement of the kill quest. Or until I get 74 for the sake of Shield of Righteousness. So yeah, a bit slow. With respect to that. I actually feel what are we looking for? It's too hard down. Let me go do the quest. It's probably a really good idea to go in this area when you are... it's probably a really good idea to go in this area when you're already 72. The reason you want to probably start Dragonblight at 72 is because you would get the dungeon quests for Jolnerub and Ankahet at that point. You could just go pop up to the quest giver, talk with him, get the quest there. Although, to be frank, there's nothing stopping me from finding an Jolnerub Ankahet group.
Glory to the Sindori. Keep your wits about you.
Speak, friend. For the Horde.
Yes, DK can dual wield. In fact, that's their the main spec that they're really strong at. Frost DK. Dual wielding Frost DK. There are several reasons why dual wielding is a better option than two-hander. Problem is getting a good two-hander weapon can be a bit of an issue in RAF. There's only one really good two-hander in all of like tier 7, and that's the axe that may drop from Kel'Thuzad. I emphasize the may drop because you can kill that bastard multiple times and never get a single axe. Can be a pretty annoying experience, actually. On the flip side, there are plenty of good one-hander weapons available much easier. Alright, kill these guys. He spawns, like, you really want to move out from where she was standing. He respawns really quickly. Interesting though. I know I'm rested, so I'm gaining a lot more experience right now, but from killing mobs. But all the same, it's like I'm getting almost 2k XP per mob. I guess I'll see how much experience I'm making from an Najol Naruboranka hit mob, but it might be that leveling in the open world by just killing mobs could very well be a really fast and solid way of getting to 80. Couple of quests along the way that are easy to do. Could be viable. A lot more viable. Problem is Wrath is very strict when it comes to level requirements for quests. So it will only hand out, like, if you try and enter Dragonblight at 70, you're not going to be able to do shit. You need 71 pretty much, and even then you're still limited by certain things. Because this is like a 72, 73 zone.
State your business. Farewell.
Traveler. Peace, friend. Go in peace.
That's, well, at least he comes down. Okay. Let's see. There's supposed to be
What brings you here? We shall meet.
The dark times will pass. Remember the sun
What do
well.
you need? Go forth to victory. You come get the voodoo.
What are you looking for? May your blades never...
What? Tomorrow is another day.
Alright, almost 72. Search in Dule village. Honestly, at this stage, I probably would be better off just doing the Venom Spite shit. And then opening the quests to the Wrathgate. That would probably be a better way to spend my time. Alright, so I need to go to the east. Fine. I don't think it's slower at all. To be honest with you. Though it depends on what you're doing. Like for questing purposes, not necessarily. Because well, both Prot and oh shit, both Prot and Ret have, that was close. Both Prot and Ret have a good deal of sustainability, right? I mean, consider leveling as Ret in TBC. It's not exactly really fast, is it? Right, since I'm at the Ruby Shrine anyway, I might as well go and do it. There's a number of things. Alright, found Wormrest Temple, but I'm not gonna head up just yet. I don't think 10 hours is reasonable at all. Like, okay, right now, a lot of people have talked about, like, leveling. Like, let me just go over this. I'm pretty much there. This has taken me 5 hours. Okay, I've procrastinated, I haven't been efficient, etc., right? And I'm constantly having to tab out as well because I wanna see where I need to go. All that kind of stuff. But let's say I could possibly reduce it to, say, 3 hours. Anything more than that, that I feel is pushing it really fucking far. Not saying it's not necessarily possible, but I think leveling is gonna take anywhere between 30 to 40 hours from 70 to 80, regardless of what you're playing as. Some people might be faster, but yeah, 20 hours easily. 30 probably, 40 might be the average, I'd say. But it depends on a number of factors. It depends if you have a dungeon group. It depends on how questing is going to be, if there's a lot of people doing it, how bad that's going to be, all that. Like, there's a large number of factors that go into it. Yeah, sure. Again, right now I am being inefficient. I'm not gonna lie about that, but it's like even if I was being more efficient, I had better gear, I don't see how I would do it faster in 3 hours, honestly. There's a lot of traipsing around, but yeah, Questy will certainly help with that as well, other things. I think there's the bastard. But even then, dungeon groups wouldn't necessarily be fast. Wouldn't necessarily be much faster. You need a lot of experience. Like, a dungeon quest mob is giving you, like, what, 1.5k experience with, like, 5 people? You do the math of how many mobs you need to kill. And it's quite... And another factor is that the first 2 dungeons, I guess you could just jump into Ankahet, like, if you're Sunwell Plateau geared or something like that. You could just jump into Ankahet and start doing that from the very start. Don't think that would be too unreasonable. The bastard's resisting my spells, and I don't really have a mana potion, so maybe use that. Ardent Thunder is gonna proc in this situation. Oh yeah, I could certainly need some help with this. Well, okay, with Sunwell Plateau gear, you're probably killing things faster. With a faster and more efficient quest route, yeah, you could possibly level in 3 hours. I don't see you doing it more faster than that. But keep in mind that as inefficient as I am right now, leveling wise, I am alone. Not really facing much competition at all for quest mobs. Which is an overall major advantage. There's a lot of bottlenecks in questing in RAF. Honestly, I think maybe questing wise, if you can find a good zone where you can kill, like just continuously pull mobs, which you certainly would be able to just pull mobs. With Sunwell gear. I'm gonna wait for Arden to proc. That way I might be able to get it twice. Oh, okay. So as long as I can keep Holy Shield up, actually, he can't do enough damage. Or he's doing very little damage. Interesting. That's only gonna last, yep. Yeah, that only lasted as long as I had that Iron Shield up. Take care, Mark. Okay, let me just use it. Because why not? Yeah, Rat Paladin may be able to kill this bastard a lot faster than I am, but Rat Paladins certainly wouldn't survive as long as I have. Maybe if they put on a shield. I think the Magma Tar is something I can solo though. Alright, Dread Talon is dead. Does feel pretty crazy to have that mana regen, but it's kinda expected actually. So wait, the only way to get fucking here. Alright. I haven't quested in RAF in a while.
our enemies will fall. Farewell.
Peace, friend. Goodbye. Sug. Go with honor. For the Horde.
Alright. So, Ajol Narub. Let the fun begin. It's probably gonna be very fast anyway, so don't really expect much of an issue there. It's not a hard dungeon. And it's not a long dungeon either. Alright. Gonna do... Well, I guess there aren't a lot of dungeon groups running. But this is what you get when you remove RDF from the game. People don't do dungeons anymore, Blizzard, while leveling. We're nuts. Yes, I'm mainly in tier 4 gear. And it's mostly fine, really. You don't need a lot of gear level to do pretty decent. I made a whole prop paladin guide, so I recommend you check that out for that answer. Jewel crafting is a must, though. For the stamina trinkets, unless it comes out... Hold on. Yeah, you are gonna have to... Well, I mean, obviously, right? Because, like, for... Because red gear is different than prot gear. All that kind of shit. So. Tier 4 gear is pretty much on par with, like, level 70 dungeons in RAF. Or quest rewards, whatever, what have you. Right. It'll do the job. It's not great, but it's gonna handle it. I have enough gear to survive a lot of this shit, so... I just need a guy to do some healing. Right, so Ajol and Rube, you'd think the grand entrance would be Ajol and Rube, but it's not. No tie. Let's do this. Ajol and Rube. Oh, there we go. Oh, weird that the camera was facing like that, but okay. The Warglaive rogue has arrived. Yeah, welcome to the Raft of Lich King dungeon experience with tier 6 geared players. Sunwell Plateau. I don't even know what they are. The healer is like blue geared and green geared, questing gear. Break me free. Now, of course, these dungeons look a lot differently when you're with people in full quest gear, but you won't. Even with fresh servers, you won't really. People won't just spend over a month doing fuck all, right? They'll do some stuff. Oh, so the quest is actually shared. Ooh. There we go, my man. Let's go. Well, last thing there. I guess it's a smart move because you might have it for the final boss. I just want to be a bit careful because of the healer. Oh, there it goes being careful out the fucking window. Omnivore. You know, I'm gonna say it. There is generally zero need for a frost trap in Wrath. Really. Is the boss coming? Try and kill him. You might be able to kill her. Kill. Oh, the poison. Oh, they're still spawning. That's bad. That is bad. Because she's killing them. Oh, someone died. That worked. Get fucked. Achievement, boys. That's a bug. So the achievement is to kill a boss before she webs the locations where the mobs are coming from. You practically do this. Here we go. Let the reses come. All right. I don't know if I want to qualify that as a bug. I feel like in that position where she was in when we pulled her, she should have webbed it, but I'm not entirely certain. And I don't want to put a faulty bug report in there. Oh, baby. I'm kind of curious if there is any group for... Why? What do you mean I don't have... That is bizarre. There we go. Woof. What the fuck? I think my mana is bugged. That's a bit... There we go. Well, if a rogue with Sunwell Plateau gear can pull aggro for me, I would question what the fuck DPSers are doing. This is kind of what is expected. Like, yeah, there is a point where people do pull aggro. So I kind of think there's a bit of a weird mana bug with the Paladin, because they was saying like I didn't have enough mana, but I was like a 50% mana. It's like, and I didn't have enough mana for Seal of Corruption, which is like 400. That is. No, Righteous Fury is on. I don't know what you're talking about. Righteous Fury is enabled. Or was enabled there. Worst boss ever. Just be on. Halls of Stone is Gothic, basically. So let me tell you a story. The story is how did you get the achievement when you needed to kill this boss in 2 minutes on retail when Wrath came out, and people did significantly less damage as well. You needed to time. You need like he always goes underground, right, at certain HP thresholds. And I think what you needed to do, you needed to ensure that he would skip one phase, basically. So what you needed to do, I think, was either to do like 50% of his HP in a single go, from like 76. You would wait for him to cast a pound, start casting a pound. Then you would ensure that he so you'd wait until he was 76%, 78, something like that. I think that's how we did it. I don't remember the exact strategy. I remember having to wait at certain points, and then having to pump Bloodlust and just zerg him down. You needed a tank, but we didn't use a healer. Like, we had 4 DPS and myself as a tank. It was really fucking frustrating. And that was the hardest fucking achievement of all of them. Wait, is there no... Yeah. Well, I guess, oh, hold on. I guess I need higher level. Okay. Let's go for Anka hit. Alright. Anka hit, leveling. So the quest run is gonna probably have to wait, though. Annoying. 73 for a fucking Anka hit. Are you fucking bullshitting me? You certainly don't need 73 to do fucking Anka hit. Pussies. Just a spider, move it. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Yeah. So I didn't get pulled halfway across the fucking room by the mobs here? What is this? Dropped, good. Maybe they only do that on heroic. Or maybe it's just bugged and missing. I can't tell you. Hold on. Oop. I think it's percentage HP on that ability though, at least. That's why he survived. You know, honestly, I want to try and think back into the days of retail dungeons, but it's like, I don't remember shit. Except a couple of things. Like, I remember Gundrak, sure, but I remember Gundrak, Oculus. But not much, really. He's got mana, so he has no excuse to let me die. Fuck if he'll let me die. Where's the fucking healing? There's the fucking healing. Okay, Guardian. Rogue. Sorry, mate. Cold aggro. Too much work glaive aggro. Glaives work against undead too, don't they? No, it's just demons, okay. Okay. I think these guys don't know where they need to go, so just a hint. All right, let's see if we can pull. You know, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it, but it's like I kind of hoped that they wouldn't. But it's whatever. Now you gotta understand, Sunwell gear is not necessarily pre-raid best in slot. It's certainly not on the level of raid gear, but it's close to pre-raid gear. Overall inferior, but it's like, yeah, it's like we're talking here of a group of people. Some of these, like the DPSers at least, they're like outputting on the level of like certainly level 80 players, higher than level 80 players would, unless they actually got pre-raid bis. So yeah, of course this is fucking easy. And I think all the DPSers are like Sunwell Plateau gear. Certainly that Rogue is Sunwell Plateau gear. Hunter is like tier 6. Actually, is he tier 6 or is he more? I don't know. No, he's tier 6. I think he... Tier 6. Fucking legendary bow bullshit. Yeah, tier 6 boys and girls. Best in slot bullshit. And of course fucking things melt. This will happen when Wrath does come out, though. And the problem people are gonna have is that they'll do the dungeons too fast. Although Ankahen might actually be a really good starting point, my perspective is maybe some Uthgar Pinnacles, a couple of an Uthgar Keep quest run, a couple of quests that you can do, and at least get 71. I feel like if you can get 71, you can really jump into this place and just go to town. Like right now, although it does feel that you're earning too little experience here, so there's that aspect. Because like right now, I'm rested and I'm only gaining 2.4k experience. A quest, but that's with rested, right? So it's like I think it's like what 1.7k or something like that. Experience, so it's not really worth doing it from my perspective. I don't think dungeon leveling is worth it, but it heavily depends. Like obviously if you can 2-man dungeons with the healer, there's never gonna be enough fucking healers for that in a guild environment. Now, one of the things you can do though with these orbs, if you have a rogue, you can just go click on one of them, vanish, right?
I will feast.
Let's see about Prince Taldaram. I would not necessarily recommend doing this as 72 I think is reasonable enough, right? 71 is pushing it. Let's see what he does there. He is... constantly teleporting because he's dying like a little bitch. He does that percentage base, I believe. Firmly believe so.
Still, I thirst.
Now, what's interesting about this place is that I think there's at least one heroic quest. Oh my! Fuck the shrooms. Holy shit, that was... Alright, that was the last of my water. I still have the PBC level 1 and it's good enough anyway.
You there! Step forward!
I haven't seen this boss fight in so long. Yeah, because who the fuck gives a shit about Jadoga on Heroic? She's an annoying boss. Okay, they pulled aggro anyway. Honestly, I would have skipped her here anyway. Skipped her here on normal, so yeah. But it's like, yeah, let's see what... Oh, of course. Can't have it all, right? These guys are like a fucking truck, though. There's no recount available, no add-on available right now in the beta. I would if I could, but... And what the fuck is giving us replenishment? It's not the shaman, is it? No, it's the hunter, I guess. Yeah, it's gotta be the hunter, right? Yeah, hunters have replenishment, if I'm not mistaken, in Wrath. It's a bit harsh. Oh, honestly, it's just because I have really crap gear. Some fucking tank. You can kill him before the second insanity. Oh, needed more DPS than I did have there. Well, that's interesting. So he will. So these guys give you experience, actually. Might be worth it. Now there's potential in that, but it depends on how fast they spawn, right? Right. Hmm? All right. Maintenance is over, huh? You know, it's always funny when I stream on a Tuesday because there's always the NA boys who are stuck in maintenance, wanting to get in. Anyway. So... No, I spent about 4 or 5 hours. Like, I know I spent 5 hours getting from level 71 to 72. But first, it depends on what you're doing, though. Because, like, for instance, right now... Right, it's like right now I have 42k. No, 430,000 experience gain already. Much of it for that dungeon. One of the things to say, one of the things I noted was with the insanity on the final boss in Ankahet, I feel like that's actually something that could be abused in some ways. Because it's like 700 experience per mob we killed there or so, right? And I think you're also gaining the experience for the mobs that your party is killing. So if you have a decent enough group, and it depends if he's doing it on a timer, how often is that timer, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna close the game right now. But first I want to go to if it's something that, like, obviously we just did the boss there, we weren't interested really in pushing that, but if he's doing that on a consistent timer and it's short enough, then that might actually be worth abusing the fuck out of, because it's like it wouldn't be too much of an issue, I think, for a healer to keep the party up there in that situation. And one of the things, and you could abuse it in more ways than one, actually. You could abuse it from the perspective of just prolonging the length of the dungeon, because you can certainly do this dungeon faster than like 12 minutes, I think. But you can prolong the length of it, and like this is one of the go-to leveling dungeons as well, because it has a bunch of mobs that you can do and all that. Like, you can do a longer Ankahet run anyway. But it might be worth prolonging the dungeon by just waiting for more insanities, assuming you can do so. But anyway, assuming Blizzard doesn't fix that. But anyway, Questine here, signing out. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, enable notifications, join the Discord, link in the description, and I will see you boys next time. And hey, if you do enjoy my content,